I will focus my comments on the effort to abolish private property concerning land. But first, what is private property? Well, private property includes your person, your thoughts, and your relationship to something. By relationship, I mean private property gives you the power to use and enjoy that thing. It is the nature of the relationship that creates private property. Private property can only exist where unalienable rights are recognized. Remember, all men are created equal and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. America is the only place, if only for a brief shining moment, where unalienable rights have been politically recognized. Now, they are being ignored. As America implements Agenda 21's two land use programs called Smart Growth and the Wildlands Network, recognition of unalienable rights is being obliterated. Let me explain these two programs with the help of this map. How many people, firstly, have seen this map before? Good. Wildlands means the removal of people and the prohibition of all resource extraction. These areas are indicated in red. The yellow areas are buffers to the wildlands where only public-private partners will engage in limited and controlled activities. Today, I think we're sitting in one of those buffer zones. Now, smart growth is the stacking and packing of human beings in dense cities where people will depend on public transportation rather than automobility. In the words of one smart growth advocate, it will be, quote, the people in cages with the animals roaming freely. Smart growth areas are demonstrated by the black dots concentrated on the coasts. And of course, on the east side of the Sound is a heavy concentration of black dots. This page from the Resource Roundup is a research tool for citizens. On this page is a map created by the Wildlands Network, formerly the Wildlands Project, that shows the thrust of the wildland set aside. The Wildlands Network states that it wants to, quote, rewild 50% of America. But in actuality, it is not about rewilding, whatever that might mean, but about removing humans from the landscape. You can see the arrow scripts here showing the thrusts of wildland project areas. By no means are these the exclusive wildland areas in North America, but the Y2Y corridor, known by you as the Yukon to Yellowstone corridor, is actually quite a bit larger. It's the Yukon to the Yucatan down in Mexico. It extends the entire continent. It has a wing that comes off to cover the Pacific coast to include the Sierra Nevadas in California, etc. The graphic above is one of the many maps in the Wildlands Network, used to be called Project, website, that shows the network's plan for our country. The wide arrowed areas show lands that the Wildland Project wants to set aside for animals, especially reintroduced large predators. Proponents of the Wildlands Network plan to rewild 50% of the United States, are beginning the propaganda push to secure vast areas of the continental United States, from the Yukon in Alaska to Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, as a migration corridor for grizzly bears and wolves. Jan Callahan, a network regional director, asserts that large carnivores need the space that humans now occupy. She says, quote, it's a big plan. Call it 100-year vision. Well, that's Agenda 21, she said. The first step is you need to get out there and talk to everyone. We're talking to federal agencies, the landowners, other conservation groups, local community leaders. Callahan hopes the blueprint influences the planning of the U.S. Forest Service and the Bureau of Land Management. Well, boy, that's calling the kettle black, as though the Wildlands Project wasn't working for the U.S. Forest Service and the Bureau of Land Management. These were the agencies that George Bush infused in 1992 with the Agenda 21 protocol. It is the federal agencies that are bringing it to these little NGOs and to our local governments. And that's why the federal government has become so dangerous. The Wildlands Project is a radical plan. Its website states it is not enough to preserve the roadless, undeveloped country remaining. We must recreate wilderness in large regions, move out the cars and the civilized people, dismantle the roads and the dams, and reclaim the plowed land from clear cuts and reintroduce extirpated species. This is their words, and this is precisely what's happening, unbeknownst by most of the American public. This is why we need to understand Agenda 21, Sustainable Development, and its Wildlands Project. The Yukon to Yucatan corridor, including its Pacific offshoot, stretches the entire length of the continent. The landowners caught up in this corridor are being particularly pulverized as we speak. But private property is being abolished everywhere, just at a different rate and under different guises. Still, they are taking away our land, acre by acre. The globalist political economic onslaught happening inside America has been facilitated as the West's resource base has been grabbed up and locked down. Dr. Michael Kaufman has said that, quote, according to hundreds of NGO documents, what is happening in the northern Rockies will eventually happen across America. Montana has fallen from 6th to 49th in per capita income since the global resource machinery made it effectively unlawful to timber, to mine, or to draw from vast deposits of oil there. Ranching is being forced down and out. Modern American government tramples the Constitution while ushering world governance, as government and its business partners gain greater control over the American land mass.